Accused of extreme hazing, police making a shocking discovery in the basement of this house. It's a story you saw first on 5. Those students found stripped to their underwear, duct taped together.
20 Texas State University students have been arrested for hazing or failure to report hazing. So many, we couldn't even fit them all on one screen here. Police say Zeta Tau Alpha members picked up pledge girls, drove them over to the Sigma Nu fraternity apartment where they were blindfolded, told to strip to their underwear, and then forced to drink alcohol to the point where some
Around the
became
country,
sick.
fraternities and sororities are the epitome of brotherhood and camaraderie. Greek organizations pride themselves on creating a family-like atmosphere and forming bonds between members that will last a lifetime. As a family, Greek organizations participate in Thon, sponsor blood donations, and tutor children. For over 100 years, Greek life has been a thriving tradition at Penn State. However, some of these traditions are currently under heavy scrutiny. Fraternity and sorority initiation rituals have been known to include heavy alcohol consumption, sexual experiences, and socially humiliating tasks. These forms of hazing can have damaging effects on the individuals who partake and can even be life-threatening. There's a broad scale of hazing from socially embarrassing to potentially dangerous. Fraternities and sororities use these initiation rituals in order to create a bond within the pledge class. The desire to be a part of Greek life drives these students to complete bizarre tasks designed by the upperclassmen.
The hazing scandal at Florida A&M University took an unexpected turn today as the authorities were investigating the death of one member of the marching band and the beating of another. They uncovered something else. Anna Werner has been following this story from the start and has the latest.
There are now 3 investigations of the university and hazing within the storied Marching 100 band. The Red Dog Order was formed by Florida A&M marching band members from Atlanta. University alumnus Kofi Hemingway played for the Marching 100 and stays in close contact with current and former band members. Students have told CBS News they believe 26-year-old drum major Robert Champion died after a Red Dogs hazing ritual called Crossing Bus C.
But along the way, what happens?
They're punching you. They're beating you.
All the way to the back of the bus?
All the way to the back of the bus.
And do you think this is what happened to Robert Champion?
Do I think if he was on bus C and that's where they found him, yes.
Here's Matt Mahar.
Answer the call of adventure.
Thinking about joining the Navy?
The Navy Adventure.
Well, before you call this number, take a look at this. And this. And this. All of these rather peculiar activities are actually part of one of the Navy's most time-honored and controversial traditions. It's called the Shellback Ceremony.
It's one of the Navy's favorite holidays.
It's really immature, and it really has no place.
The ceremony is as old as the Navy itself, and it still takes place every time a ship crosses the equator. Ellie Iadonisi says her initiation on the USS Acadia was nothing but officially sanctioned hazing.
I remember being hit with the shillelaghs, the strips of rubber hose, and had my face shoved into a urinal and held there for about a minute.
That doesn't sound like a lot of fun.
No, it wasn't a lot of fun. It went too far. When I have welts and bruises and hit to the point that I'm marked, it goes too far.
In preparation for a crossing ceremony 2 years earlier on the same ship, the commanding officer specifically warned shellbacks not to violate the Navy's rules forbidding excessive force.
Make sure that the shillelaghs that we're using to indoctrinate our wads are used properly. Nobody is using a full bat swing like Yogi Berra hitting a home run.
But in the unsanctioned 1991 pre-initiation ceremony below decks, shellbacks are using full bat swings as they beat the wogs.
You got to put some damn
In 1991, Graham tried to protect a new recruit from a particularly violent pre-initiation ceremony below deck, but to no avail.
You don't hit him. Don't look at me. I can hear it. I said you don't hit him. I'm a shellback. Get out of the way. Get out of the way.
I saw guys getting beaten until they couldn't stand it and they were crawling away, and they had nowhere actually to crawl to.
So what does the Navy have to say about all this? Well, Navy spokesperson Commander Bruce Cole insists the officially sanctioned above-deck ceremony is not hazing.
A safe and proper crossing the line ceremony is a very positive morale effect on the crews of Navy ships. It's an important nautical tradition.
Cole stressed that the initiation has always been strictly voluntary, but nearly everyone we talked to said there is social pressure to join in.
I couldn't really say, oh, I'm not going to go through this, you know. What would I look like?
Obviously, I bowed to peer pressure.
Special correspondent James Brown is host of the NFL Today on CBS. He is in Oklahoma City. JB, good morning.
Good morning, Charlie and Margaret.
How prevalent is this?
Charlie, rookie treatment, if you will, is widespread in the NFL, but of the benign nature, carrying bags, duct taping guys to the goalposts, things of that nature, even buying meals for players. But clearly, Charlie and Margaret, this is way overboard. This is atypical, and it's absolutely repulsive, quite frankly.
James, I mean, this goes against the entire concept of a team. Does the league have a responsibility to act here, or is this something that should be handled within the team itself?
No, Margaret, the former of what you said is what's going to take place. The NFL league office is sending their senior vice president of labor policy, Adolfo Birch, to investigate this. As a matter of fact, he's been in touch with the team since last week. I'm sure you and Charlie are familiar with the term institutional control as it relates to NCAA colleges. This seems to be applicable here as well, too, because you would think that the coaching staff would have its finger on the pulse of what's going on, not only with team leaders, of which Incognito was on the Team Leadership Council, but from the trainers, equipment managers, getting information like this. This has been going on for a while, and trust me, there's going to be a lot more to come out about this.
And what will happen to both players?
Well, the Dolphins would still welcome Martin back with open arms. Clearly, he's not going back into the same environment. And while nothing has been officially stated, that which Mark Strassman indicated has been reported in Miami is more than likely going to be the situation there. Incognito's days as a Dolphin, they're over.
But Martin himself had come forward and had made clear that he was having some issues here, and it really wasn't until he provided proof, or there was proof provided by other sources in terms of text messages, in terms of actual hard evidence, that any action was taken here.
And you know what, Margaret? It's a shame that it had to come to that point. Look, the locker room is supposed to be, as you indicated, team-oriented. Sometimes guys engage in juvenile kinds of action, sophomoric for sure. But team leaders can usually tell if there's a player who's reached his limit and now it's getting overboard. Those team leaders will step in. Shannon Sharp, my colleague on the NFL Today, talked about that, and he was one of the biggest jokesters on the team. But they can always tell if you're getting to the edge of that line, then you back off of the player, and clearly that line was crossed a number of times with Jonathan Martin.
Clearly. JB, thanks.
Involved. There was a voice message left. I'm going to read it to you. You did leave this voice message.
Yes, I did leave this voice message.
And it's, hey, what's up, you half N-word piece of black. I saw you on Twitter. You've been training 10 weeks. I want to blank in your mouth. I'm going to slap your blank mouth. Going to slap your real mother across the face. Laughter. You're still a rookie. I will kill you. You hear that. Going back to that now, do you look at that and say, I left that for Jonathan Martin? But there's one thing of saying that. Another thing, with a white man using the N-word.
Well, and that's...
How do you tell America, how do you expect anybody in America to believe you're not a racist?